TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Korn Flakes and KRACK. And I'm smiling ear to ear. We are blessed and honored to have the legend, the myth, the man himself, Mr. Bill, starting the week here at ECSI. We couldn't be happier or prouder. And super stoked. The carnage, no carnage in the NFL this week. It took 6 weeks, but the public won, and I don't want to hear the sports books crying about how they lost so much money. Boo-hoo, you won 5 straight weeks, and it's kind of comical. The chalk came in, but we'll get to Bill in a second. First and foremost, a shout-out to our proud sponsor and partnerships, of course. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It's free. Howard Blindman, I am here on time this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go with Viva Tequila Seltzer. CT Bets the team, the family, second to none. Head on over to where you purchase adult beverages. Try one. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And, of course, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith. While you're there, head on over to Atlanta Steak and Seafood website. You can go place an order now. Terry will be on at 11:05, and he will be talking about what the deal of the week is. So we're super, super stoked. And, of course, Mr. Noah Frank, the man behind the glass. Glad to have you here, of course, on Monday. So without further ado, the true star of this show, the one and only, Mr. Bill Krackenberger.
Good morning.
Good morning, Billy. How are you?
Good. How we doing? I'm just I put my collection bucket up a couple, maybe I think 2 seasons ago. I'm gonna get that out for the bookmakers that are all looking, for donations this week because they've lost some money. And I usually go outside one of the casinos, one of the sweatshops like the Gold Coast or something like that. I usually go out there and try to collect some money for the bookmakers pension fund. Yeah, I'm feeling really bad for them this week. So, sorry. I try to be nice to everyone and try to help everybody. And, they had a bad week this week. But what are you going to do? It's part of the business, It's tough for these guys to answer to the executives up top, though, Jeff. In other words, you got a nice guy that graduated from maybe Boston College or someone over there, or fancy joint over there by you, and they come out to Vegas and now they have this big executive job and upstairs in the safety perch of the office, and they're in finance and they're looking at the numbers and they're saying, wait a minute, we actually lost money betting, taking bets, getting 11 to 10, holding the people's tickets, holding the people's cash, and they never gambled a day in their life. They never even played wiffle ball as a kid, probably. Nothing. Never took a shot at a hoop, nothing. but they have their fancy degrees, and now they have to talk to the people that are running the sports books and guys that are on the bottom that are working in sports books, or the executive, even the directors. They have to answer to these people and say, how did we lose? It's not possible. But they have to, and I'm being dead serious too when I say this. These people that are up in the safety perches of the office of the casinos that never gamble, they don't go on the casino floor. They literally come down on casino directors and sportsbook directors and the sportsbook managers and say, how did this happen? And it's a casino. I mean, you can lose. I mean, it doesn't happen often. Through the first 3 weeks of the NFL, they just think it's normal that they created, that they, literally smashed every single record the sports books have held this year. They literally, for the first 3 weeks, equaled last year's, some of them, the season. I know one sports book that won as much money in week two than won in the entire 14 weeks of having 14 days of having the Super Bowl up. So, it's kind of funny when you see these things, and I know people that work in the sports books nationwide, by the way, and they literally do. They have to answer to executives that have their fancy college degrees up there and say, and they say, how did we lose? And they have to explain to them that you're going to lose a week or two, but you're going to make a lot of money throughout the NFL season and even throughout the sports betting season. Baseball is, believe it or not, a giant moneymaker, even though the juice is a little bit lower. But baseball is a giant moneymaker for the casinos, the sports books and casinos, because it's every single day. It's volume. I remember the guys at Pinnacle, they used to say, oh, my God, we love baseball season because we make money every day on volume. So, it's something that they have to deal with every week. But I'm not here to talk about really spilt milk for guys like me, because believe it or not, when the sports books have losing weeks, chances are I'm gonna have, that's probably when I have a losing week. So I've had a great run though, Jeff, since week one preseason. Oh my God, preseason was unbelievable. The regular season's been okay. I've been holding my own every week, killing props, killing sports betting in general, and had a great baseball season. So I really can't complain. So I lost a couple of units this week. It's all about bankroll management. It's all about long-term goals. It's funny. So last night, I needed the Giants last night. Yeah, so they literally big favorite at the end of the game with 2.5 minutes left. Cincinnati gets the ball. They're just going to run the clock out and try to get 2 first downs and end the game. And they break away. First of all, they get a nice long pass. I think it was third down. Burrow had a pass, and I wanted them to complete a pass, which is fine down to like the 30-some yard line. Now they just have to get 1 first down, basically. And I was actually surprised to see a lot of times when you'll have someone break through the line, they'll know that and they'll go down on the 2-yard line. Because the only chance they have to lose the game is to score, and God forbid the other team comes back with a touchdown and maybe an onside kick. It's a very long shot, of course, but anyway, that's the way it goes. I wasn't even going to make the Giants a side, but I was forced to. Out here at BetMGM had to put up a 4.5 on the game at game time, and by the way, they wanted the Giants. Trust me, I interviewed their director yesterday on the phone on our show on Countdown to Kickoff on Fox Sports Radio, and in the daytime they were overloaded with Cincinnati money when the line was 3.5. So for it to go to 4 and then even 4.5, boy, these sports books took a beating on these public primetime games like that when the favorites win. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tonight. And I got the Jets in a teaser tonight. Even next week, you could put the Jets in teasers with next week's games. I have next week's games up here. So there's actually a couple. I looked at a couple of lines for next week to put a teaser in. You can actually put a teaser in with a couple different teams next week, going through the key numbers of 3 and 7. You can pick Washington at home. Imagine saying Washington's 7.5, 8-point favorite. Washington at home, 7.5, 8-point favorite. But there's also other opportunities there too. Detroit, one of the hot teams in the NFL, I guess now. They're playing Minnesota though, old division rival. You can go through the 3 and the 7 and take them up to 8 against Minnesota. So you can do that. It might need a 6.5-point teaser though. I think the Jet game's around 1 now. Last time I checked, but yeah, that's just the way. And by the way, you can't tease it at these shops that are charging $1.30 or more. I think I seen over there in Jersey. I was in Jersey. I went to Jersey for 24 hours, and believe it or not, I had to go for just a day. But I see DK is still charging $1.20 on 6-point teasers. So listen, I used to pay even. I talk about this all the time. I just don't want, if I'm recommending a teaser, I don't want you to think that you can go out there and this place is in this town charge $1.40, for a teaser. So you just don't want to play teasers minus $1.30 or higher. So I try to give you guys some knowledge and on some things, but I also want to make sure you don't get robbed on the pricing too, because they have, the sports books have priced customers out of the market, advantage players or guys that take little nuggets of them. No, that's another thing, Jeff. You say advantage players, we throw around the word sharp, advantage players. Do you know the percentage of advantage players? I can tell you the percentage of people that think they're advantage players, but maybe that'll be, 5%, 10%. But, everyone that goes to the counter or everyone that makes a bet on their app, they think they have an edge for sure. So I'm not taking away nothing from them. But the real guys that, 9 to 5 guys that, work 9 to 5, and then they want to tell me they're an advantage player and a pro sports bettor. And there's a lot of them in media. When I see someone in media that works 50 hours a week, but yet calls himself a pro, and there's a couple of them that people out there think are pro bettors and work 50 hours a week at a job behind a desk where they have no screen to watch the line moves, the injuries, the way things are going. It's just, that's the world of social media. And it's the world of sports radio and sports podcasts now. So, it's really funny to me. It's harder than ever to win. And I want to listen to someone that works, 50 hours a week. Yeah, okay, give it a break. The real percentage of people that are real pro sports bettors fall into the fraction, and I mean the fraction of 1%. So lucky enough to call myself and to be in that fraction for the last, trust me, I talk about it a lot, but I just got hammered, hit over the head doing my taxes the other day when I was back in Jersey. So of course, paying on sports betting when also, even though I do some media stuff. Anyway, I've talked long enough. You have any questions or anything? Sorry, Jeff.
No, listen, this is your stage. I have a blast taking this all in. We got standing room only already, Billy. So, you talked about, they're supposed to slide down. And the Atlanta was up 15 and they got an interception, and the guy had an easy walk-in touchdown. He slid down on the 2 and he knew what to do there. So that was comical. And like you, a lot of people were on that Giants. The public had the Bengals 3.5. They had them on their teasers. They had them on their money line parlays. And what a weekend for sports bettors. Hockey's back. There was a UFC at the Apex. The college football card couldn't have been the biggest one of the year. Oregon, Ohio State, USC, Penn State, Texas, yep. Oklahoma. The list is endless. And then these guys just get beat up and beat up and beat up. And then they wake up Sunday and they fire. You talked about Buffalo and the Jets. It's one across the Vegas Strip, all but our friends at the South Point. Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews. I don't know if they're still sleeping. They're hanging a 1.5 right now, Billy. Everyone else is 1.
Well, to be honest with you, I love those guys over there, but they don't open yet for 13 minutes. So it's 7:47 a.m. right now. Their app opens up at 8 a.m. So, but they do take bets. Listen, I bet some max bets over there at the South Point on their app. They take 5,000 in the NFL, and sometimes it shocks me. There'll be major line moves, and they'll still keep that number hanging 8 a.m. till 8:01, 8:02 a.m. after someone like myself comes in there and bets. They definitely will take bets over there on the NFL, and in person they take bets on everything on pretty high. So I'm real happy with the South Point. I love the South Point. To me, is one of my favorite casinos in town. I mean, they lose $1.5 million a month on food. That's not just from me, by the way. But they lose $1.5 million a month giving away food to their players. So that is old school. When you have a casino that does that, where you have everyone on the strip here look at the price gouge. And I went to Caesars for breakfast last week with somebody. I can't think of the name of the restaurant. There's only one restaurant that's like a 24-hour restaurant there. As a matter of fact, when you say coffee shop to someone, I told you what happens is that when you ask someone where's the coffee shop, they point you to Starbucks now. They're 30 and under crowd. They don't know what a coffee shop is. So the 24-hour coffee shops are restaurants that were open 24 hours. So I went to the restaurant over there at Caesars, and it's a cafe. It's right up in the front, closer to the street, and close right across from check-in. And I just can't believe steak and eggs is $50. Like, the South Point has midnight to 12, the midnight special. They're $6 for $6.95 for steak and eggs. They advertise it. $50.
Coronado Cafe.
That's it. Yeah, the Caesars hit you over the head. Literally, it's unbelievable how much money it is. So I didn't have the steak and eggs. I just went with a regular $28 omelet. So, yeah, it was amazing that breakfast was I think it was $117 before the tip for two of us. I got an orange juices. They knock you out for a sawbuck, $10 for a little shot of orange juice. So it's just the way it is now. Listen, it's all over the strip. I don't mean to pick on Caesars. That's just where I was. Listen, I love the Wynn. The Wynn is one of my favorite casinos in the world. They're unbelievable. Their coffee shop overlooking the pool. It's mentally pleasing. It really is. Then they have another oval restaurant. I always forget the name of that restaurant. There's another restaurant that in the morning time is it's in the Tower Suites area. Tableau. It's called Tableau. Tableau. It's unbelievable Tableau. So I go over there sometimes just to get the fresh squeezed juices, the lemon ricotta pancakes. The service is top notch. All linen tablecloths and beautiful dressed waiters and waitresses in this rotunda overlooking the gardens and the pool. It's nice. But let me just tell you something. I like to go to my local spots too, and not get hit for double and triple the price. That's what it is. If you go to a casino restaurant like I just told you at Caesars, or even the Wynn, I love the Wynn. You're gonna pay 3 times as much as you are at you're gonna pay 4 times as much as Denny's, but you're gonna pay 3 times as much as some of my local spots. So isn't it amazing, Jeff? We always wind up talking about food in the end, but food's a fun subject. Listen, I told you I was going back east I went for less than 72 hours, and I don't know if anyone can make that many stops. I should have really got Guinness involved and asked them if anyone can make that many stops at different food establishments. Guinness World Records would have liked to have heard what I've done. But no, I went to Italian deli. I went to Chinese. I went for pizza. I did things I can never really do over here and have the quality that I have on the East Coast on my trip. I went from literally Newark Airport to Atlantic City to Foxwoods to New York and back on the plane, and I was back in Vegas in less than 72 hours.
Before we have a handful of minutes here still with you, I want you to talk to the public right now, because they had their first winning week in 6 weeks in the NFL. They wake up this morning, they're feeling good. They're like, man, I knew it was just a matter of time. Boy, did I whack them. And you got a premier football game with Buffalo. at the Jets, new coach. This is a must-win, obviously, actually for first place with the Jets as well here. You got two playoff baseball games. Dodgers with a bullpen game. Miraculously, this Dodger team with no pitching has now shut out the opponents for 33 straight innings, 24 from the Padres. They shut out the Mets last night, 9-0 final there. So there's two baseball games. You got one football game. You got three hockey games starting at 1 o'clock, and then you got three more at 7. Can you please explain to these guys that finally won, that are walking around like this, and can you tell them to give them some food for thought, Billy?
Yeah, the food for thought is if you start firing all this stuff, you'll have plenty of ammo for your Gamblers Anonymous class, which is the daily class here in Vegas. It really is amazing. We're getting into that, they call it a word, they call it like the sports equinox or something like that, when all the different sports start crossing over and you have nonstop action. I got to tell you something, Jeff. I love playoff baseball. It's real. It's down. It counts so much. I grew up baseball, boxing. I love playoff baseball, but doesn't mean I have to have a bet on the game to watch the game. Unlike most people, they have to have action. They have to have a bet. They just can't enjoy it for the love of the game. I like I said, I really enjoy. I'm looking at the Mets and the Yankees almost. They have chances for a Subway Series again, which we haven't seen in 25 years. But it doesn't mean you have to have a bet on everything. But if you are going to bet on everything or bet on things, I would look towards the secondary markets, the markets that aren't ironed out. In other words, that line is up there and it's covered, at like tonight's football game, the Jets and Buffalo. That's been up. That line's been up there for, 8 days, and it's been covered by every major network talking about the NFL in general, but of course, even this game, especially after the head coach was fired, and basically now it's probably like LeBron. Aaron Rodgers is probably running the team secretly. Only everyone knows about LeBron, but so you just don't want to always bet into the main line, -1, +1, because that line is an efficient line. That line is ironed out throughout the week in those 8 days. I look towards the secondary markets, the proposition market, over, under, yardage by the players, that type of thing, more than the game lines, which, let's face it, you can go to any casino tonight and take your money out, dump it out, and whatever you want to bet on the side, or even the total probably, you can bet. I'm talking about if you want to bet $1 million on the Jets or $1 million on Buffalo, there's casinos in this town that will take that. That's how efficient that line is. However, that same casino, if you want to bet over under passing yards by Aaron Rodgers, they're going to take maybe a dime, probably 500, and they're going to move it instantly. They're going to move that line, and that's the difference, and how it's so much harder to beat sides than it is on secondary markets, and that goes for baseball too. It goes for even hockey. There's props on all these things. And they're major sports. Like I said, those lines are up there and they're ironed out real early. I put a tweet up this morning about you and I a couple of weeks ago, talked about Monday mornings, what happened. Even this morning, early morning Mondays, lines go up and they take $2,000-$3,000. Maybe $5,000. I doubt $5,000 though. Whereas this is NFL sides, by the way. So they're taking a couple grand because they know that market is not efficient, and the pros are going to formulate, and they're going to shape that line early Monday morning. So that's basically it. What happens in the sports betting game early Monday mornings?
It's Monday. It's Bill Krackenberger. Go follow him on Twitter at Bill Crackman or at Crackwins. As we always kind of sort of wrap up this show, the last handful of minutes here, Billy. You said you came back east for 72 hours. You're back in Vegas as always. We're going to throw you a little curveball maybe here. We've done some Italian. We've done some desserts. We're getting a lot of requests from people coming in. So I'm starting to fill a grab bag. of questions that we're going to all fire at you sooner than later here. But how about when it comes to Asian food? You got some must-goes in Vegas. You were back home for 72 hours. East Coast versus Vegas. What do you got when it comes to Asian food?
Listen, East Coast is we have Chinatown in Manhattan. We also have one in Queens. It's just unbelievable. I would put that up against any. But we have a Chinatown here in Las Vegas. People don't realize that. A half a mile from the Strip, you have the start of Chinatown on Spring Mountain Road, and also the most dangerous road to drive on. I'm good friends with the captain of police. Most dangerous road to drive on, Spring Mountain Road in Las Vegas. The most of deaths occur on Spring Mountain. Just to let you know, there might be reasons for that, but it's Chinatown can be dangerous driving wise. So anyway, yes, throughout Chinatown there's a brand new plaza. I don't know the name of the plaza. I know the restaurant's called China Mama. Unbelievable. One of the best Chinese restaurants in this town, China Mama. There's a couple different locations. There's a new one coming to Palace Station. So there's a new one, the same exact restaurant, China Mama. They're for anyone that thinks I go after stations all the time, just because they don't take bets with me on the app and they throw anyone out with a pulse. I do give them some credit on. I love some of their properties, and like I said, China Mama coming to Palace Station. There's a restaurant called SK Seafood, which is authentic. It's down Spring Mountain, maybe 2 miles on the right, and SK, very hard to get into. And it's good if the people eating there are Asians, and there's tons of Asians in there eating. I always want to know, I don't want to go in a place with just all white people, to be real blunt. I want to go in a place that's diverse, and I want Asian people eating in the restaurant. That place is really good. I'll give you something that it's a cult-like place now. I've been going there for years. It's cult-like. You got to make a reservation, and you have to get on the app and make not the app. It's on Yelp. You have to get on Yelp, and it's that tough. It's that tough. It's called 888 Japanese. It's a Japanese all-you-can-eat premium Japanese. It's unbelievable on the corner of Spring Mountain and Decatur. 888 Japanese. You'll love this place. It's like $30 a person. All you can eat. It's premium too. They make the money off the liquor, but I don't drink. So, but their food is fantastic. And again, it's they close the reservation list like 5:30. So you have to make sure you're on that list. They sell out every single night. It's unbelievable. There's 3 spots for you guys.
When I'm in Vegas, I've got turned on to while I'm at the CIRCA. What's your thoughts upstairs at 8 East at the CIRCA?
Very good. Very good. 8 East is decent. But it's going to be double the price of all the Asian restaurants in the casinos. You go to Wing Lee at the Wynn. Wing Lee's triple the price of anywhere else, but it's the most unbelievable experience too. So, yeah, no, the 8 East is good. That's a good spot.
As we always wrap up here, Billy, I want you to tell everyone, A, where they can find all your work, B, your schedule. I mean, you got a million different hits, and, of course, on the weekend where they can get you at Fox Sports Radio.
At Bill Crackman on Twitter, at Crack Wins, Fox Sports Radio, countdown to kickoff every Sunday morning live on over 500 networks, 7 to 10 a.m. Vegas time on Sundays. That's it.
Billy, thank you as always. Have a blessed day, a better week, and we'll catch you next Monday.
Thank you, guys.
The one and only Bill Krackenberger, the best in the business. Just absolutely love our Monday morning spots. Start talking football, and then 20 minutes later, we've just gone through pizza, Italian, Asian food, you name it. Next week, probably donuts, slices of pizza, and yada, yada, yada. Going to go to a couple quick commercials, Noah. And then when we come back, Terry Smith, CEO, founder, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Well, it's Monday. It's that time for Mr. Terry Smith, CEO, founder, the man, the myth, the man behind all the steaks that I've been eating and the lamb chops and the seafood. And I probably put on about 3 or 4 pounds since our first care package was sent. Had a good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess, this weekend. And let's bring him on and start to talk some Atlanta sports, the one and only Mr. Terry Smith.
Good morning, Mr. Dawson.
Well, I guess, I'm going to start this way. When we talk in August and September, it's the SEC. It's not Alabama, Georgia, and a cloud of dust. We had talks of Texas. We had talks of Tennessee. We had talks of Ole Miss. Alabama with a loss. Georgia with Ole Miss with a loss. Tennessee with a loss. I'm watching you guys beat each other up, and I'd like to say this past weekend, I don't know what happened. I mean, you won against Mississippi State, and the same with Alabama there. What's going on in Georgia right now?
Well, I think you just see a lot of talent is spread out, now across the country with the NIL deals. And, it's everybody's more on an even playing field. Georgia, we moved the ball, great offense this week. Defense was not what we usually are known for, but I think we played a lot of secondary, second team guys back there in the fourth quarter, let them get some work. But this Mississippi State quarterback is this freshman's no joke either. So he's going to be a handle to deal with over the next couple of years. Just the talent so spread out, and everybody can compete. Vandy now beat Kentucky. They should have beat Missouri. So beware of the Commodores.
Well, that's the funny, because a handful of weeks ago, Kentucky gets absolutely lambasted at home by South Carolina, and then you roll into town. You beat them 13-12, and then they go and they shock the world on the road. And now we weren't sure which Kentucky team are we looking at. And here's Vanderbilt after upsetting Alabama. No one gave them a shot. Here they move into Kentucky. I mean, I get it. Top to bottom, there's competition. I get all that. But this was the year where 12 teams, Terry, were going to make this. And what I'm witnessing in week 7 here, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 SEC teams outside looking in at like that 13, 14, 15 spot saying, hey, we know we're better than the number 12, 11, and 10. But you got 2 or 3 losses. They're not going to let you in.
You may see a 3-team loss in there, maybe. It depends who you lost to and when when the loss occurred. But look at LSU. They won on the last play of the game. Basically, Ole Miss should have 1 loss. But you got to play all 4 quarters, and it's going to be close. I think you'll see some 3-loss teams right there being thought of in that 12-team playoff. Definitely 2 is going to get you in if you're one of the top 10 teams. But there'll be a crowd for either a 2 or 3 loss team right there that's not going to get in. That's probably better than one of the 9 through 12 teams that'll be involved in the tournament.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback here because you got the game of the week this week.
Oh yeah,
you travel to Texas. 3.5 point underdogs. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. Trust me on this. You know, Texas just destroyed. Their defense is legit. I know Oklahoma was banged up. I get all that. Ewers gets the rust off after having a few weeks off due to injury. In come the Bulldogs. Terry, not to put the fear of God in you here. If they beat you, you're one of those teams now with 2 losses.
Yeah, we're going to see it. I think you're going to see several teams with 2 losses here in the SEC. Texas does look like they're the top of the heap on both, offense and defense, and how they're playing so far this year. Going on the road to beat Michigan, and the good performance last week, but Mississippi State gave them all they wanted a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not going to say we're going to win the ball game, but we should be in there right at the end. And Kirby knows how to get his boys fired up, so we're looking forward to a fun night.
We'll stop there right there because it's going to be the game of the week. Must watch TV, of course. Let's go over to the Falcons. I got it. There you go, Billy White Shoes Johnson. There you go. Right. I thought it was a real good spot for the Bucs. I really did, and they came out early. They put a good little excuse me.
Panthers.
Let me. I'm ahead of myself right there. Panthers played well. But at the end, it was your defense. And hats off to the defender with the interception, who decided he's smart. Unlike the Bengal guy who decides he's got to get the touchdown and do the celebration dance like the game's over. That's the only way the Giants had a chance. Your guy up 15, slides down at the 2. Talk about the game start to finish. Again, Carolina played well early, but the cream rose to the top.
Yeah, being a Falcon fan, you've seen many games that we should have gone in and won and put a dunce cap on and play horribly. But it started out that way again. But I think we're a different ball club. We can definitely run the ball. You have 2 100-yard rushers with Robinson and Algiers. I had Algiers on my fantasy team and didn't put him in, so could have won that game just right there. But Cousins didn't throw really deep, but he was solid. Just a solid overall performance by the Falcons, and it looks like a team that knows how to win. I think getting some of those early wins in the last play has given this team a huge bolt of confidence. You can see it. They're just playing with confidence, and yet you hadn't seen that with the Falcons team since Matt Ryan went to the Super Bowl. So it's good to see guys playing for each other, and I think we're going to be a factor.
It's a division that, again, we can take the Panthers away. You got a good team, I think, with the Bucs. I think they're going to be. That's why I got ahead of myself. I apologize. Baker Mayfield, who's going to have some good weeks. He's going to have some weeks, and he's going to have a clunker. And the Saints, with Carr being hurt, Rattler made some throws. He's a rookie. He's a gunslinger. Olave leaves the game due to concussion. I think you're sitting pretty good right now. You got to be content and happy where you're sitting right now, Terry.
Yeah, with the strength of our schedule, of course, the Saints don't look as strong now, beating Dallas after what happened to the Cowboys yesterday. But they're always going to be a nuisance to us. They have been for the past 50 years. Tampa Bay looks solid. They're right there. I give credit to Mayfield. He has really resurrected his career, and he looks solid. Guys like playing for him. You look at him on the sideline. Even though he made some mistakes, they were still together and they knew they were going to win that ball game. Even with a lot of bad tips and some crazy interceptions. But I think those are the two. Our Falcons and the Buccaneers. They should battle it out here over the next 8-9 weeks, and we'll see what happens.
Terry, we're down to the Final Four in baseball. I was talking to Bill for a quick second about this, and it's funny because the Dodgers have no pitching due to injuries, yet they end the Padres series 24 scoreless innings, and then they just shut out the Mets 9-0 last night. 33 straight innings of shutout baseball, and they're going to a bullpen game today. Thoughts on what you're seeing in the National League right now?
They'll probably run another 9 scoreless innings. Who knows? But I didn't see that. I think nobody saw that coming, especially when the Padres were, getting 6 runs an inning there. But I don't think they scored another run after that 6th inning. They scored in game 4. So, I forget, game 3, I'm sorry. But Dodgers have always been known for their pitching. Just shows how well they drafted and guys they picked up in the free agency. And you can't beat good pitching. I had Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz and Avery, all those guys down here for years. And it took a special team to beat them in the playoffs because we didn't hit, but that pitching will take you far, far, especially in the playoffs.
It's tough to say this because I get asked the same question when any of our locals are out. Who am I rooting for? If you had to pick one of the two, I know you despise them. I get all that, but are you watching? Are you cheering for it or rooting, or who do you think's going to prevail and make it to the World Series?
Dodgers and Cleveland. That's my pick.
Cleveland?
Okay. Dodgers they're just too strong. I don't count the Mets out where they've been playing. I do like that team, how they've sort of got those players together over a 4 or 5 year period and let them grow together. I do like that about them, just not picking people up all the time. But I see Dodgers in Cleveland. And I know the Yankees are sitting there, but something tells me that Cleveland's going to get them. And I did want to mention the guy that slid down before on the 3-yard line. He gave up some incentive money, I'm sure, giving up a score on his contract. So all outs to him. That really shocked me that he did go down like that.
Last question for this week before we get you to see what's going on at Atlanta Steak and Seafood. I'm going to make you GM right now for the Atlanta Braves. And I used to love the first week in December. It was the hot stove week, all the owners in one room, and here's where you got your Christmas present. The Red Sox would always get a big signing, and it made the Christmas so much more joyous. Nowadays, they just meet in a room for a week, and if you're a Boris client, you hope to get signed by someone by February 1st. And, of course, he's going to have the biggest name on the board with Soto there, and he's going to hold up the market. But, Terry Smith, you're the GM of the Braves. What are you doing in the offseason, or what do you hope to do in the offseason for the Atlanta Braves for 2025?
One, we just need to get healthy players back in the lineup. You never know what's going to happen with injuries and coming back in the spring. But if we get our players back and we play, halfway or 75% of the way we played 2 years ago, we're going to be in good shape. You got to look at Max Fried. Do you sign into the big contract or not? But we have to find 2 more quality starters. 2 starters. You get 2 quality starters. Guys come back healthy. Maybe shortstop. We need Arcia. I think's played out here. We missed some leadership there when Dansby left. But shortstop and healthiness, get everybody back from injury, and I'd look for 2 starters. Of course, that all depends what the money flows with our GM, but I think that's what we're looking at.
Well, I will tell you, you will not be able to get or duplicate what Sale did last year. There's 0 chance. Trust me from a Red Sox point of view. So if Strider comes back healthy, you got Ronaldo Lopez, you got to decide on Fried. If I said to you, are you going to get into the Corbin Burns market?
I don't know. It's going to be another big contract. I know we don't like to sign the biggest contracts, but we kept Acuna, and we kept a lot of the guys when they were still young. We got the 10-year contracts on them, so they're in good shape. But you couldn't go wrong with him if you get him. I would like Fried to stay. Maybe that last performance performance against the Padres was maybe shy some people away from offering that big money. But we just have to wait and see what happens. But Burns would be a heck of a acquisition.
And I'll give you a couple of little curveballs. You can call up Seattle if you got anyone in the farm system and try to pick away a George Kirby or a Logan Gilbert. You can maybe call up the White Sox, see if Crochet's available. There are things that you can do without spending the big money for Corbin Burns as well.
Yeah, our GM of AA, he's been doing a solid job since he's been here from Toronto. So he hadn't missed on many. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think he's going to do his typical good job, and we'll be ready for spring training in April. We'll be ready for everybody.
Well, as I always say in our intro, in our beautiful commercial, go follow Terry Smith on Facebook at Terry Smith while you're there. Of course, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Terry, we always wrap this up. The stage is yours. What you got to offer this week at Atlanta Steaks and Seafood?
All right, this week with October is National Seafood Month, and you gotta have throw in some seafood with the beef every once in a while to keep the arteries clear. But for the next 2 weeks, we're going to offer every box of seafood a $20 off at checkout. Put seafood 20 in it at checkout, and every box that we have, from our Norwegian salmon, our Chilean sea bass, our Saku AAA tuna blocks, cold water lobster tails. We have the best seafood in the country that comes to your house, and $20 off every single box from now through the 27th of October to honor National Seafood Month.
And so at checkout, seafood 20, correct?
Seafood 20, yes.
All right, go follow him at Facebook at Terry Smith, on Twitter at Atlanta STKSSFD. Terry, always a pleasure. We love having you here on Mondays. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Go Dogs this Saturday. We're proud to be a Falcon fan again.
All right, Terry, go have a day.
Thank you.
Noah, we're going to go to one quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up and get you set up for the rest of the day. See you soon.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Oh, what a way to start the week. Shout out to Bill Krackenberger himself, Mr. Terry Smith, of course, Noah Frank. Mondays are tough days for most people. We're getting closer and closer to our 10-year anniversary of public service. January 1st, 2025 will be our 10-year anniversary. We got a lot of big things planned there, of course. But for me, every day is Groundhog Day, whether it's a regular Monday, a holiday Monday. Happy Thanksgiving to Canada. Andrew McGinnis, Cam Stewart, the rest of all our family and friends. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you have a couple extra yams for the East Coast guy over here as well. 4:30, I'm hoping, maybe 5 o'clock. The closing bell. Riley Magnuson back from Vegas. We'll be back. We're going to get you set up. We'll do what we call is a re-entry Monday. And we're going to bring go over the weekend madness in UFC, in golf, in college football, and of course the NFL and the MLB playoffs. We'll get you set up for tonight's games there as well. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, Andrew McGinnis at Wager Talk, and then McGinnis Picks will be here to start your morning off there as well. So it's been a great weekend, everyone. I can't thank you guys enough. Shout out to Mr. Sailor as always. And by the way, Scotty Webb is okay. He hopes to have his power and internet back by Thursday. So maybe Friday we'll have Scotty back. See you soon.